Hey everyone, welcome to Maych TV. So there's a little something brewing at Liverpool Football Club, and I'm not talking about ongoing ESL, FSG, SOS, and other, acronym kind of situations. I'm talking about what I'm calling the Salah situation, and that situation is that he has 2 years remaining on his Liverpool contract. According to the man himself, there has been no one in contact with him about renewing or extending that contract, and we're faced with a situation where if you don't get something sorted, if you get to next summer, your hand is very dramatically weakened in that situation of you've either got to get a contract sorted or you run the risk of losing him for nothing. I want to have a little bit of chat about that and why we've come to that situation, what I think will happen, and whether I think Liverpool will cash in, whether I think Liverpool will go big on him this summer or not, and we'll discuss that in a moment. But first, Chris Pajak is over on the Super 6 YouTube channel doing the Hold the L show, and this week he's fighting the case for Steven Gerrard to go into the Premier League Hall of Fame. It's a no-brainer for me, I know, and it's a no-brainer for you, I'm certain, but it's a little clip.
When you look at the complete career of him, he's played 16 full years in the Premier League. 8 times he was in the Premier League Team of the Year. Compare that Paul Scholes, twice Team of the Year. I mean, and what else has he won? 4 Player of the Month, something like that. Whereas Gerrard was in the Team of the Year 8 times. He won the Football Writers Footballer of the Year once. He won the PFA Players of the Year once. For all these players that have come out and spoke about Paul Scholes, he didn't win Player of the Year once. He won the Young Player of the Year. He won the UEFA Club Footballer of the Year. He was bronze in the Ballon d'Or. He was the Fans Player of the Year twice. He was in the FIFA Pro World 11.
Wait.
Players have done that. UEFA Team of the Year, Team of the Century, Premier League Player of the Month 6 times, and he's the only Englishman to be in the UEFA Ultimate Team of the Year. So when you come to individual honours, and that's what we're talking about here, we're not talking about how many trophies you've got on the sideboard. We're talking about Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, listen, go and watch that show. Go and leave some love in the comments, drop a like and all that stuff. Make sure Chris does not hold the L. He cannot hold the L on a Steven Gerrard shout, but go and watch him destroy Akeem. We love Akeem. He's a good friend of ours, but yeah, Chris basically, did not, when he pulls his pants down, I mean figuratively, but nearly. Definitely go and check that show out. Right, so the Salah situation. So yeah, look, as mentioned up top, it's a weird position for Liverpool to be in this because absolutely, undoubtedly, without any doubt whatsoever, Mohamed Salah is Liverpool's biggest star. He is Liverpool's biggest asset. Now, maybe some people are, you're pressing your caps lock and you're ready to go, Van Dijk, and I'm like, yeah. But Van Dijk's got one knee at the moment. So basically, by comparison, side to side, the main man for Liverpool this season has been Mohamed Salah. And you could argue it's been Mohamed Salah since he walked into Liverpool. The goals he has scored have contributed more than anyone because he scored more goals than anyone towards the successes of this football team. And moreover, this season has contributed towards us not basically getting relegated. So yeah, main asset, the most valuable player we have, the most saleable asset, the biggest global star. He's the guy in the Pepsi advert et al. So yeah, he is that, but he's facing a situation where he's not being offered an extended contract, and that kind of makes you wonder why. What is going on behind the scenes? Why would you not have that situation sorted? Because I think he will be already the highest earner of the football club, and if not, it's by fractional margins. There's no doubt what he brings to the team. But obviously we're also in a very unusual set of circumstances globally in terms of football and financially and what have you. So it's understandable that Liverpool wouldn't go big. But when you look at the Gini Wijnaldum situation, who is, he's going to end this season unless something mad happens, unless there's a big turnaround, he's going to leave on a free transfer and join the likes of Emre Can, who've done that in the past. Steve McManaman did the similar thing. Michael Owen would have nearly done it, etc. It's a crap situation, and the last thing that Liverpool want for their business model is to let a player who you could be getting 100 million for go for absolutely nothing. So for me, that makes absolutely perfect sense. But what you've got is Mohamed Salah is 28 years old. He's heading towards 29 around the end of the season, of course. And that doesn't mean you're dead and buried. You're not dead at 30, as much as I think we've all been conditioned to think that in football terms. Because look, if that's true, I am well dead. I mean, I've no ambition to be a professional footballer anymore. But yeah, I always find it funny that we look at guys who are 30 as absolute old men, as I see them now as young whippersnappers in the prime of their lives with all of their future in front of them. So yeah, and I think this idea, of course, that you wane the second you hit the big 3-0 is a bit of a nonsense. I mean, for God's sake, look at what James Milner's doing at 35. Most footballers, most world-class footballers, yeah, your game adapts. Maybe you lose a fraction of pace along the way, but the nous and the experience and all the stuff that you've got and your big gamesmanship that comes with it more than makes up for the truly best of the best. I mean, for God's sake, look at what Luis Suarez is doing in La Liga when everyone thought last season, his career's done, he's dead and buried, blah, 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 and he's just gone and he's absolutely amazing at Atletico. Messi's still the best player in the world, Ronaldo's still the best player in the world, and all very much well, not just past 30, well past 30. So I think the idea that you can't tie him down to a new contract perhaps is a little bit of a daft one. My general opinion on this, my general feeling on this is that a decision definitely needs to be made this summer, because you can't afford to get into a position next year where your bargaining position has been significantly weakened. I think it sends a message to footy. If you can convince Salah to stay, it tells the world that this has been a blip and he's committed to the project as well. It takes away potential suitors and what have you, and cool, and just calms and curbs all that stuff. You don't want to go into a season of this like, does Salah really want to be there? You just don't want it to be a talking point. You want the talking points to be how Liverpool are playing on the pitch, and if things aren't going perfectly for you, you just don't need the sideshow and circus of, is it because of like you think you're your body language expert to come in and all that crap. And we've been there with players before. It's not fun, and football has been very not fun for the last sort of 12 months or so. It would be nice to not contribute towards it being not fun with this kind of, again, absolute circus and debacle that follows a big player and contract talks and all that stuff. I think the way we're in, I think in a normal world, if the pandemic hadn't hit, what a wonderful flight of fancy that is, I think there's a chance that Liverpool this summer might have looked to cash in on Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane, or maybe Roberto Firmino. And the reason I think this is because I think there's a refresh and renewal thing that needs to happen, because the front three are all the same age largely. They're all 28, heading towards 29, as everyone is when they're 28. So what I mean is they're all the same age. So you don't want to get to a position where they're all 32, 33, 31, where they all fall off a cliff at once because they're all too old. What you want to do is, and I always reference the Barcelona front three where, Ronaldinho would come through and you had Eto'o, and then you'd replace one or two, you'd keep your best one and you'd maybe sell somebody you could get a good money for, and then that money you'd come in and refresh. You think about the amount of forwards that Barcelona have gone through, from like, Javier Saviola was there for a while, you've got your Eto'os, you've got your Ibrahimovic obviously settling upon Suarez, Neymar comes through the ranks and all that kind of stuff. Liverpool, I think, want to be able to do that, and I do think Jota's bought in to allow rotation. You've got a quality young player who's got his best years ahead of him, so you're setting him on the path to being at the same level as the existing front three. But I do think Liverpool's plan, and Melissa Reddy talked about it in an interview this week, about the aim was to buy a generational talent. They've been building themselves a war chest to do this. Whether you believe that or not is not for a conversation for today. But I that was my sense from what Liverpool's transfer business has been, because when you want to replace your best players, you need to go and spend big. You don't go and buy you don't now goalkeeping terms. Ideal world, like Creven Kelleher becomes as good as Alisson and better, and then you've not really spent a penny on him. But realistically, if you need to replace Alisson in the coming years, you're probably going to have to go out and spend £70 million on a world-class goalkeeper, because that's the nature of it. If you want to go and get a quality centre-half, as there's talks with Canate, you go out and you're not going to pick up someone on the cheap. You're not going to get another £2 million job. You need to go out and spend the big bucks to get the best quality of player available to you. And I think that was the plan, and that's why I think in a normal world, Liverpool might look to cash in and sell, but this is where the Salah situation is so interesting. Let's say Liverpool go, okay, look, he wants a 4-year contract and he wants to be paid another $100,000 a week extra. Okay, well, look, in terms of his output, there's a few better in the world that we're going to get, but is that time for us to start having to think about the wage structure? Is that a time to think about getting cash in? Is Salah now at the peak of value? So you've got an amazing set of years out of him. You're never going to get better than that. You might get more, but you're certainly never going to get better. Is now the time to cash in and all that. And the issue with that is, who's going to buy Mohamed Salah? Real Madrid, Barcelona, we know the dire straits of their financial situation because it's been plastered over all the tabloids, all the media, all of social media. It's the driving force behind the Super League. Those two clubs are goosed financially and totally and utterly goosed. They are in hundreds and hundreds of millions of debt, and they simply can't afford. And I think about like Barcelona, like they're in a situation. Look at the Messi situation. Are they going to end up losing Messi for nothing? You know, there's a guy who's should be a £200 million sale, which can help to bolster what you do, and blah 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 blah. My point on this is, who is there out there who can buy Salah? I think that might complicate the situation. It strengthens the Salah's camp of will give me a new contract thing, and it also weakens their, well, you've got to give us a new contract because that Real Madrid, they'll come, they'll have him, they won't. They'd love him, but I can't see how Real Madrid can afford him. So the only club realistically left who might be in the market for a Salah is a Paris Saint-Germain. Does Salah want to go and play for Paris Saint-Germain? Maybe. You can see Qatar making a big play for him. They did everything in their power to celebrate Mohamed Salah big time when Liverpool were at the Club World Cup. They might see that as a real massive boon to have someone like Mohamed Salah on PSG's books. And of course, that would then, they've got the money, that would facilitate the transfer merry-go-round. All of a sudden, Liverpool have got £100 million, and they've got a pretty free choice. And the beauty of the market this summer, I think it's going to be a buyer's market once and if some money sort of frees itself up. I don't see Kylian Mbappe moving for mega money this summer. It's going to be a struggle for anyone to pay what Dortmund want for a Haaland or a Sancho. But if all of a sudden one of them moves, if Tottenham get big money for Harry Kane, if Liverpool were to somehow get big money for Salah, which again I don't think they should bother forcing that as an issue, of course, etc. What that does is that means someone's got money, then they go and spend it, domino effect, knock on, and we'll have a really interesting transfer summer on our hands. But it might mean Liverpool have lost an established world-class player, which I think, given the situation, given the climate, I think feels a bit foolish, which is mad because probably a year or so ago, I felt it was going to be one of Mane or Salah, and I'd have kept Mane because I felt Mane was more physically robust, which seems crazy when you bet on recency bias and what we've seen. Salah has just continued to chug away, and he's having a better goal scoring season than he's had in a couple of years prior to this one. So it seems like a stupid idea. You would sell Mané, but are you going to sell Mané? Was Mané diminished his value in this? In an ideal world scenario, what Liverpool really want to be doing is tying down their established world-class stars. Take a little bit of a punt on that. It's probably not a comfortable situation to have guys who are going to be heading into the twilight on really big, massive bumper deals. That's a fine tightrope because you can totally capsize your business proposition and what you're trying to do in a couple of years' time if you do that. But given the climate, for me, the solution to the Salah situation, alliteration, get him tied down, get a new contract sorted. And I think, honestly, I did a video with James Pearce on this, which will be streaming on the redmentv.com. It's our Liverpool streaming platform, talking about what Liverpool will do, and the general consensus is they'll probably keep the powder dry for a few weeks, and that will depend on what European competition they're going to be playing in next season and what it looks like, the roadmap in terms of will we have full stadia by the start of next season. And if Liverpool have the absolute ideal world scenario of Champions League football and a guarantee that next season it's going to be a full Anfield every home game, then I think Liverpool will move quite rapidly to secure the contracts of Salah, Van Dijk, Fabinho, and possibly go a little bit above and beyond in terms of the transfer market. And I think there'll be a scalable down plan from that should Liverpool end up in Europa, Conference, or whatever. But listen, let me know your thoughts. What would you do? How would you handle the Salah situation? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, that really helps. That's a good thing. Drop a like, that helps also. I want to say massive thanks to Type Kits, by the way, who sent me this absolutely genuinely amazing. You'll be able to see in the background there. It's a load of kits based on famous font designers. I love footy shirts and I love niche footy shirts, and that is about as cool and niche as you've got. But yeah, check out Type Kits on Twitter. I'll put a little link in the description. Go and have a little look around. I genuinely adore this shirt. I think it's brilliant. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend, and hopefully Liverpool can play some football and win some football matches. Wouldn't that be lovely? See you so soon. Ta-ra.